Watch and burn.
Hey everyone. So today, or this morning, yeah, it's 5:30 a.m. So this morning, I want to discuss Rancid's new one, Tomorrow Never Comes. I almost said Tomorrow Never Dies, which is like one of the worst Bond movies I've ever seen. But no, Tomorrow Never Comes. This is Rancid's 10th album. It was released on June 2nd. It's now June 4th, and I've spent the past 2 days doing nothing else but listening to this record. Initially, I didn't love it. I felt that it was just too mid-paced, but by the second or I'd say the third listen, I just started to really sort of like open up to this record, or this record really started to open up for me, because, I mean, I gotta say, I didn't know what to expect. Given the strength of Tomorrow Never Comes and Don't Make Me Do It, wow, I expected this record to sort of be Rancid 5, Part 2. You know, they're incredibly speedy and aggressive and thrashy as fuck 2000 album. It feels like, this record feels like the most fun parts, I would say, of specifically Indestructible. I would say Start Now, Stand Your Ground, Ivory Coast, that or those songs, and the songs on Indestructible that are like those songs that have that same energy. This is what Tomorrow Never Comes has going for it. But then when the third and final single, Devil in Disguise, was released just before the album dropped on the 2nd, that song, it's always the third single, is the most telling as far as what the album is going to sound like. And Devil in Disguise does do a wonderful job of accurately summing up what the rest of this record does sound like. I found that it's like, it feels so natural, and it just feels like, it just feels so honest and so pure. And I think the one thing that this record definitely helped show me was, I didn't realize this at the time, of course, but it really makes Troublemaker sound really technical. I mean, Troublemaker's got some awesome tracks on it, like fucking Track Fast and Telegraph Avenue and Farewell Lola Blues on there. I mean, there's a bunch of really good songs, and don't get me wrong, it's a great record, but I didn't realize how technical it sounded until this record came out a couple of days ago. Tomorrow Never Comes and Don't Make Me Do It are the two most aggressive songs on here. I mean, Lars screams a bit on Tomorrow Never Comes, and that does not happen anywhere else on this record. So in that sense, having Tomorrow Never Comes and especially the incredibly speedy Don't Make Me Do It as the first two singles were somewhat misleading, because this record to me, it seems to be the most approachable and sort of the gang vocal aspects of Indestructible, right through like Life Won't Wait, with aspects of sort of the more sing-along elements from their first two albums as well. This record sounds so raw, and yet at the same time, this record sounds very familiar. And it's like I said, it's like the most comfortable parts of Indestructible, as well as this record being a complete and total nod to their entire early past. So many songs start on this record, and they're so, I mean, the starts of so many songs on this record, are so reminiscent of the starts of so many songs off their debut album from way back in '93. Right through, like, and including Let's Go. But then at the same time, there are aspects of this album where I hear, like, Turntable or Something in the World Today from Life Won't Wait. So I really liked that as well. I liked how Eddie the Butcher has Maxwell Murder vibes. I liked that. I thought that was very cool. And I also like how it has kind of like a David Courtney vibe going for it too. So again, tossing back to Indestructible once again. They understand their material and they know their sound so well. But on the flip side of that coin, despite the fact that they know their sound so well, nothing sounds stale. Like, none of the songs on here feel like leftovers. Like, it's like, you know, they had to toss a record together quickly or some shit. This record feels like it was made by a group of friends who wanted to write these songs for no other purpose than just to write music with their friends. You know? Now I'm thinking of the chorus from The Highway, from Let the Dominoes Fall. Overall, I will say that this record was a little mid-paced, and it could have been, I'd say, 5 to 10% faster. Now, I'm not talking that we speed it up like people do with Lana Del Rey's stuff. We don't want to listen to fucking Elvin and the Chipmunks, but this record could have been 10% faster. just to kind of get it out of that mid-pace groove that this record does seem to, unfortunately, at times, especially with songs like fucking Drop Dead In and One Way Ticket, it seems stuck in this sort of mid-pace thing that I just don't feel, or I just can't connect with. Favorite songs on here, my God, When the Smoke Clears, Tomorrow Never Comes, Mud, Blood, and Gold. God damn, that has some like Manslaughter era body count vibes to it. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that or feels that way, but I felt that Mud, Blood, and Gold sort of has more of like a metal-ish vibe to it, and definitely reminds me of Body Count's album Manslaughter at times, like so completely. My biggest problem with this record is the fact that there's no ska. Now, we've all come to expect Rancid to include at least one ska song per record, and even though I will say that this time through, having listened to the record as much as I have, ska wouldn't have really fit, it still would have been nice to toss a ska song in. I do also think that it's time that Rancid just releases either a complete ska record or at least a ska EP. It's been a long time coming. I think the majority of their fan base wants that, and they're really good at it, so that could be really exciting too. And then the songs on here that I don't love would be Drop Dead In, One Way Ticket, and Hellbound Train, but they're even starting to grow on me. So in a lot of ways, I think this is shaping up to be Rancid's most complete sounding album for me since, I'd say, Life Won't Wait. I know Life Won't Wait was really divisive and it sort of split the fan base because a lot of people were looking for more of the mid-pace / speedier elements of And Out Come the Wolves to just be repeated on Rancid's follow-up to that album, which was Life Won't Wait. And Rancid did take a lot of chances, especially with tracks like Hoover Street, which of course Hoover Street is nowhere to be found on this album. I mean, this record was a fucking knockout. This thing is amazing, and I couldn't be happier with it. Thank you, Rancid, for providing me with just about 3 decades of perfection. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys for hanging out with me while I discussed Rancid's 10th album. And that, I'm telling you, is a really good sign for this summer, because the last time Rancid released a record was summer 2017, and that summer kicked ass. So this is possibly a very good omen for summer 2023. But yeah, so thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discussed Rancid's absolutely killer 10th record, Tomorrow Never Comes. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please, most importantly, do not forget that the world is a better place because you are in it. I'm gonna go. Have a good night. Or wait, no, have a good morning. It's now 5:35.